Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hello, everyone. Happy New Year's. Hope your New Year's Day is going very well. We have to talk love and marriage, Huntsville. You guys know why you are here, because there is a lot of tomfoolery that is taking place, you guys. There is a lot of shenanigans that are taking place. But in this particular video, we're going to talk about MARTELL HOLT's meltdown on social media, you guys. So as we know, we have been dragging the season finale for a multitude of reasons, but in particular, this ridiculous tea party scene with MARTELL and Melody SHARI, and he has on his wedding ring that, you know, he was wearing obviously when he was married to Melody. He is up here gets her flowers. Melody SHARI doesn't accept the flowers, and says she'll give it to the kids or whatever. MARTELL is trying to poke and see, if Mel's, single, and talking about their life together and how they had a good life and all of these things. Because reality has set in that he misses the life, right? He misses the life, and he misses juggling his side chick with his actual wife, right? He misses all of it. And he realizes he can't do anything on his own. And he couldn't even fake the relationship with SHARI long enough to continue a storyline on Love and Marriage Huntsville, because he has a reckless side chick who wants to be seen no matter what. So, nonetheless, he is in the comments of this particular clip with Melody SHARI and says the following. Says, "I do not want her back. This scene is me playing team ball. I was asked to meet Melody, and Carlos called me after me telling the other producers I'm not taking her flowers. She got me in court saying I am abusing my kids. Now she has her merchandise saying she's against abuse. She tried to get me. Carlos begged me to take her bleeping flowers, talking about the Holt's need to take the show back. And so my only question was, y'all talk with Melody?" And the answer was yes. So I was down, but just like you were delusional about at SAPH, I'll have to look into who that is, wanting you back. It's the same over here. The frustration you see on my face is her not doing what the producer said she was going to do. All this bleep is definitely for TV. We're actors. Carlos, don't delete this. Let's have a real conversation. I might be getting a phone call to fire me after this comment. Sorry, but you guys are not going to continue to villainize me, make me out to be an abuser, a stalker, or making it seem like I want Melody back. I am done with y'all making me out to be something I am not. Film my real life or don't film me at all." So we have a lot to break down in this particular comment. And he was in another comment as well, basically another content creator, shout out to DJ Richie Sky, was calling out his hypocrisy and said, "Yo, he's wild. Just last episode, he was screaming at Mrs. Nell about, never mind, let me mind my business," with laughing emoji. And MARTELL replies and ats, the content creator, DJ Richie Sky, and says, "Nah, you wild. This fake bleep narrative they are pushing is wild. Plus, yes, mind your business, and Nell should have did the same." What in the heck, you guys? What in the heck? What is going on? Right? And it's the audacity for me. What does MARTELL have on these other cast members that he can just be reckless like this? Is Chris going to say anything to MARTELL about him just coming for his wife like this unprovoked? Make it make sense, right? So let's get into all the stuff that he is saying. This scene is him playing team ball. So here's the thing, like I've said a bunch of times, MARTELL does not have a storyline, right? He flopped with this whole SHARI thing because, like I said, he couldn't keep his mistress on a leash, couldn't keep her quiet because she wants to be seen. She's jealous that she cannot be on any of these shows. And nonetheless, most of the cast isn't fooling with him, right? Because they look silly continuing to defend his nonsense, right? So he's limited there on, filming with the cast. And Mel was primarily his storyline. Mel and the kids were. But you blocked the kids now from being on the show, which would have given you a storyline about being a single father, right? So you have no choice, but you continue to ambush events that I presume allegedly producers are calling you to do. Ambushing, the kid's birthday party, ambushing different things, trying to, get in scenes with Melody Cherie because you were MIA most of the back half of the season because you had no storyline. Now, there's two things I believe in the statement. The rest of it is lies. And I'll just get this right off the bat. When Martell is talking about film my real life or don't film me at all, here's the thing. The day that mistress appears on their show is the day the show is getting canceled. Is the day that show will be the last season, you guys. Because there is no way, if Carlos King always needs the Millimeters and Melody Cherie supporters to tune into the show and always make sure anytime the show is coming back and, he needs that first interview with all of the views, with all of the ratings, he calls Melody Cherie. Who is he having on his first tour stop in a couple of weeks from now? Melody Cherie. So he understands the impact that Melody Cherie and her fan base has on the show. He understands, those petitions that ultimately got Letitia's mom off of this show, and also, with all of the feedback of Destiny's foolishness, and she's no longer on the show, the impact the Millimeters have, right? And, him saying to Martell that the Holts need to take the show back, I do believe that is a true statement, right? And I do believe that. And let's keep it a buck. The show sucks when Melody Cherie is not the focus, right? But see, Martell, you ruined the Holts taking back the show because, number one, you couldn't stop cheating on your wife, which is the reason she divorced you, and you had a baby with your side chick as well while you were married to Melody Cherie, right? But here's the thing. You had an opportunity, even after this divorce, to make things amicable with Melody Cherie, to do effective co-parenting. Melody Cherie is offering you olive branches and storylines for that trip to Florida to have a family trip with the kids and everything else. To try to give you something, right, to film, because you have nothing to film, right? And you couldn't see what she was trying to do for you. So she attempted to, quote unquote, take the show back, except for you were not playing ball. And outside of filming, you continue to do stuff behind the scenes that is suspect, right? Because remember, you tried to sue and get full custody of the kids. Remember, you tried to gain access to the businesses that Melody Cherie solely owns now. You wanted access to the profits of Sugar Mama's hair care line, which is ironic your mistress is throwing shade at that because your dude, there's literally receipts. There's literally court documents that said he wanted access to the proceeds. And he's nowhere on that business, you guys. Nowhere. He was a part of Embrace, the former skincare, and I presume hair care and everything else line, right? But Melody Cherie did the smart thing and dissolved all of your businesses together. So that way, when she is single and she is moving on, she can now rebrand, and all of the other stuff that she had in the works, she can put it under solely her name now. And you have nothing to do with it, and then rename it to different products so you can't touch it, right? So the audacity, right? And then trying to make this abuse allegation against your kids, trying to call that a lie. Here's the thing. There is receipts on that there was an incident with Tank. So why are you doing this, right? And the biggest crime of it all, you guys, right, is you claim you don't want Melody Cherie back, But you are holding on to your intimate photos and videos. You're holding on to your wedding ring. You keep sending Melody Cherie flowers, not just during filming, right? Melody Cherie exposed that he sent her 12 dozen flowers that she left in the garage. So he has been trying to get Melody Cherie back behind the scenes and on camera. That's not acting, Martell. You very much see the impact of not having Melody Cherie in your life, and this is the real reason you're frustrated. Because you thought you could have your cake and eat it too and get away with it. And Melody Cherie said, no. Not going to happen. But you fumbled your own bag, Martell. Because like I said, this could have been an easy co-parenting situation. You could have had a storyline. Things could have been amicable. But you're trying to do revenge pee behind the scenes. And involving your mistress at that. Right? But yet, on camera, you try to play victim to Melody Cherie and make it seem like she's the one that's being difficult. She is the one who is, causing all this chaos when, like she said, you are the one that is causing all the chaos. You're the one that's causing all the drama. So that is why things cannot be amicable between the two of you, right? But again, you want to try to present this narrative, so which is it, right? Which is it, Martell? You just said that you're an actor, but then you also want to convince the people on camera that you're not this horrible person, right? Which we already know is a lie in itself, right? Because we have receipts on that. But it is just funny now that everybody is, clowning you. And you do this foolishness to appease your mistress, right? Because she is convinced that the show isn't real, right? She is convinced that nothing on the show that is taking place is legitimate, right? But nonetheless, you cannot deny the stuff that you said and did on Real Housewives of Atlanta. You cannot deny the stuff that you did on camera on Love and Marriage Huntsville, Martell. Because if you really didn't feel that way about Melody Cherie, you would feel that. You would say that, right? You would say that, and you would say, you know what? I've accepted that we are divorced. I've accepted that, we're never getting back together. Now let's just focus on co-parenting. Let's focus on the kids, X, Y, and Z. Let's focus on getting along for the kids. But you cannot do that because you have nothing without Melody Cherie. So you keep trying to find ways to hurt her to make yourself feel better. But why you're going to put your own main source of income in jeopardy is beyond me, right? Because you're up here saying that Carlos King can fire you, or let's have a real conversation. So here's what I think about that. Either Martell was already out the door because of the fact he was so limited in the scenes this season, and to the point that there was even episodes he just flat out wasn't in altogether. Or this is another tactic, another threat that Martell is trying to make as a last-ditch effort to try to get this mistress on the show. And it is not going to work, you guys. The day that like I said at the beginning of the video, the day Carlos King has this mistress on the show, the day the show is going to be ending soon. The day that it'll be the last season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Because nobody's going to put up with that, right? But I also wonder how the Scotts feel right now. Right? Because Carlos and the Scotts themselves say how much they call and complain to Carlos King all the time about, how the fans hate them and all the things, and the fans want them gone from the show and all the stuff that happens on social media. So how does it feel that Martell is saying the Holts need to take the show back? Basically, Carlos King is telling Martell in what he thought was probably a private conversation that he never expected to be made public one way or the other, that the Scotts are not bringing anything to the show. And they're acting too, right? Because they're not showing their real lives either. But what was real, Martell, is you cheating on your ex-wife, you continuing to lie to your ex-wife, and then playing victim and doing all this gaslighting the moment the cameras start rolling. And trying to convince the audience you're this good dude. And it doesn't help that your castmates lift you up and say, oh, Martell's a good man, and maybe Melody Cherie did cheat, and blah, 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 blah. They fuel the nonsense as well. But see, that's what's going to happen, right? Because what are the Scotts going to do if Martell is no longer on the show? You have no choice but to get along with Melody Cherie, right? So I have no idea, why the Scotts chose the wrong side. I have no idea why they thought that they were ever going to elevate backing Martell. He is just as unhinged as his mistress. And he is so narcissistic and still refuses to accept that he is not the it factor. And that without Melody Cherie, he's nothing. But every time he gets clowned, every time he gets embarrassed, and every time he's professing his love and how bad he wants his ex-wife back on camera, comes another argument, I presume, with the mistress where he has to go on social media and go on these rants because, like I said, he has her brainwashed that the show was fake. Right? And that's not a good look for Carlos King either. Because you're supposed to have this legacy and this history of all of these black reality TV shows that you've produced and executive produced. But there is one thing in common with all of those shows, whether it is on Bravo, whether it is here, or wherever else. At some point, as the seasons go on, you, one, play favorites with certain cast members, and as a result of that, you either give them more of a favorable edit, or you give them ridiculous amounts of screen time that is not needed because they bring nothing to the show. And then the other side is something goes dark. Something goes very dark on the show. And in this show, you have allowed Martell to verbally attack his ex-wife, and no consequences. No anger management. No suspensions. He loses his mind at a previous reunion taping to the point Melody Cherie has to have security by her. And you do nothing. And then at the height of, while the Houston trip is filming and everything else, is when all of, the Carson Blues stuff exposed this Revenge P stuff. And again, nothing. No accountability, no actions, nothing. You continue to have a loose cannon on this show filming and doing whatever behind the scenes, trying to torment the heck out of Melody Cherie. So this is also on you too, Carlos, because you have enabled a toxic work environment on all of your shows. And it gets to the point that things escalate to this, to where people are either leaking private conversations with producers, or people are, just going on these little rants and trying to, play the victim and make it seem as though it's someone else's fault. Because even in the drama with some of the other cast members, somehow Melody Cherie's name is always mentioned, even though she may have nothing to do with the issue at hand. So, Carlos, what are you going to do to bring this show back and give us a decent season 7? Because as things stand right now, it's not looking good. It's not looking good for several cast members. Because Martell just decided to let have and expose that he has to be coached to do certain scenes, which I don't necessarily buy. I think he wants to know what Melody Cherie is doing so that he can pop up. Because he knows without Melody Cherie, there's no storyline. There's nothing for him to film. He can only be a side character for so long on these group activities or the usual outing at Black with all of the guys. Right? I mean, that's not going to be enough to withstand filming an entire season of a show. But again, you thought you knew everything, so you axed your own children from the show, which, like I said, would have gave you something to film. You've completely ruin the opportunity to have a co-parenting relationship with your ex-wife so that you can have something amicable. You could do future trips together. You could do future interactions together. You could celebrate your kids' birthdays together and all of the things. But you couldn't even get that correct. You couldn't even get that right. That would have afforded you an opportunity to film some real scenes. But the problem is, the real you is chaos. The real you is too narcissistic, is too nasty, is too bitter that your ex-wife had the audacity to leave you, that you want to spend the rest of your life trying to pay her back. Except for if you lose your main source of income, you're going to be, out on the street pretty soon. You're going to be without a home pretty soon. Right? So it is just funny to me that once again, we have another meltdown from Martell. Once again, no accountability, no responsibility from these cast members. It's always somebody else's fault. It's a producer's fault. It's Carlos King's fault. But what about you agreeing to it, right? If allegedly this is true, right? Nobody told you to agree to it. If you had something specific you wanted to say and you wanted to do on camera, nobody's stopping you from doing that. But again, you also knew what was happening behind the scenes, off camera, and on camera. You wanted to make it seem like there's no way any of this could be true. I'm a good guy. I paid for tea with my ex-wife. I brought her flowers. I was reminiscing on the good times. I wore my wedding ring and all these things. I'm letting her know and the world know publicly I'm single so that there's still an opportunity. You did all of that, Martell. You did all of that. So I don't know where we go from here, you guys. I truly don't. Because I feel like Martell should have been fired a long time ago. He should have been fired when divorce proceedings happened. Because I knew he was going to, completely unleash and he was going to lose it. And Melody Cherie was not protected and still is not protected. Because there is no reality show. Go to these old Real Housewives shows. Go to Bravo. How many of those divorced housewives are being subjected to film with their ex-husbands? And these are ex-husbands that, had a much more amicable divorce than what Melody, Cherie, and Martell had, and they are nowhere to be found on Bravo. But we are stuck and subjected to this type of toxicity of forcing Martell on Melody, Cherie. And Carlos King, he is too tunnel vision to see that we do not need Martell to make the quote-unquote Holtz take the show back. Melody Cherie can do that herself, as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know what it is with Carlos King's thing and fascination with Martell and trying to help him and all of these things and trying to make Martell happen. And it keeps flopping and it keeps blowing up in Carlos King's face. And for some reason, he continues to film on the show. Make it make sense, right? So there's that. So I am curious to see what your guys' thoughts are in the comments on all of this chaos, on all of this drama. Again, Martell has unleashed once again on Instagram, probably because he lied to his mistress once again that everything is fake, that everything is for TV, except for he went the extra mile to do the most as well, to really paint a certain picture that he's not over his ex-wife. And both of you are not over Mel because you both have said that you wish you were still married because you wanted access to the lifestyle. And Melody Cherie is a lot more richer, a lot more successful without you. And you cannot handle it because you can't get your hands on any of it. And that's why you tried to get full custody, because you tried to get access to the income. And it didn't work out for you. So there's that. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.